Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. I think it's about time for me to talk about parenting. I've emphasized previously on the importance of parenting and its great influence on us as adults, but I didn't really go into it. And by the way, the initial idea for the podcast was some quick tips on parenting. I got the idea of making short episodes for around 5 minutes because parents barely have any time, and to help them out with some parenting tips and advice. But then I was like, I want to talk about this and that. There are really so many topics to discuss and raise awareness on. So I ended up deciding to make it more general and called it Let's Talk Life with Dana, hopefully benefiting more people. Some episodes will be more parenting oriented, but I still believe that they would benefit everyone because it also makes you more aware of the way you were raised and how that has affected you today, whether in your relationships and personal life or your work and career. Even how driven you are is influenced by your childhood. And this reminds me of something Steven Bartlett says on his podcast, Diary of a CEO, the driven or dragged concept. And he asked multiple of his guests, are you driven or dragged? Are you ambitious out of an inner drive or because of the environment and circumstances you grew up in? And is your over ambition affecting you negatively now? For example, making you work tirelessly, affecting other areas in your life, like your relationships, whether with your partner or kids or your family, your friends, or even affecting your health because you're not paying attention to your food or not making time to exercise. Dragged because you need to validate yourself by being successful and being seen as successful to others. Dragged out of fear of not being enough. Dragged out of social pressures, out of insecurities, out of unresolved trauma, or other people's expectations. Being dragged makes you feel stuck, reacting instead of choosing, like life is happening to you instead of by you. And Steven says that this is caused by his childhood, because he didn't feel good enough, because he was less fortunate than his classmates. Because he was seen as less, he thrived to make something of himself and prove everyone wrong. And he became a millionaire and the CEO of many companies. But now that he reflects on it, he sees that he was dragged, and he sees how that's affecting his relationship with his girlfriend now. So do you see the connection between childhood and ambition? Some might say, honestly, it sounds good. In Steven's example, he thrived out of hardship. And there are a lot of people, well-known people, who thrived out of hardship. But that's because they had the cause mentality. The mentality of, I'm going to do something about this. The I'll find a solution mentality. The taking responsibility of your own life kind of mentality. What causes having such a mentality instead of having the effect kind of mentality, which is pretty much the victim mentality, feeling that everything happens to us and that we can't do anything about it? Well, honestly, I don't know. Maybe some people are just born with it, and maybe factors like having a sibling or a parent or someone close to them being at effect makes them think that I don't want to be this way, feeling sorry for myself. So they become resilient, trying to figure things out and fulfill and validate themselves. And still, in this case, they are dragged. And now, back to Steven Bartlett's example, he was dragged to become successful, and that could have impacted his happiness. Because, as he had said in his podcast, his need to constantly work has affected his relationship with his girlfriend because he's not spending enough quality time with her. Now, because he does self-reflection, he's aware of it and consciously makes decisions to make time for what truly matters, which is his relationship and his health. He says that he made exercising as part of his routine, so it's a non-negotiable. So here you can see that no matter how your childhood was, no matter how traumatic it was, you can do something about it and become the person you want to be with self-reflection and inner work. Now, where is the parenting part? Wasn't this supposed to be a parenting episode? Honestly, I was planning to talk about something else. I wanted to talk about the perfectionist parent, but then I started writing and the topic of driven versus drag just took over. Yalla Sava, I'm going to go with the flow and talk about things as they come. I'll talk about the perfectionist parent in the next episode because I don't want to make my episodes too long, but let me connect this to parenting now. There is a very nice question to be asked here regarding being at cause or at effect. Since we are not sure if the mentality comes with us when we were born, and by the way, we can be at cause and at effect in different areas in our lives, but let me not go into that now. But since we are not sure if we are born with the mentality or the circumstances of our life created it for us, more precisely our childhood, then can parents influence that mentality to be more at cause rather than at effect, but also at cause in a balanced way? We don't want to go overboard. I personally think that they can. I think that parents can empower their children by first observing them, understanding them, identifying areas that require empowerment, and gently encouraging the child with powerful questions that make them think in a more empowered way. But also, let me say this, we don't need to push too much. Sometimes it's best not to interfere and let life teach them the lessons. Let life teach the children some lessons. We don't need to control everything. وأصلاً we can't control everything. And that's why I wanted to talk about the perfectionist parent. Sometimes we need to let go of things and let our children be, even if what we want them to become or work on is to their benefit. Some things just come with time. Bas yalla, more on that in the next episode. I hope that this episode made you reflect on your source of ambition and maybe make you consider what you are working towards and what really matters. Yalla, see you next time.